Welcome to Start Before You're Ready, the podcast that proves that you don't need to wait for the perfect moment to begin your journey towards better health and happiness. I'm your host, Kelly Young. Remember, the first step is often the hardest, but it's always worth taking. Hi guys, it's Kelly, and today's podcast is going to feel a little bit different. I want to make this podcast more like a coaching session. So I love having the opportunity to talk one-on-one to my members, or even in groups. I love to share, and just because of the way the schedule works or the way my classes are, certain people I get to see more often, and I have a little bit deeper relationship with them because I can find out what they're working on and I can ask them about it in different classes. And I love that. It's actually one of the parts of my job that I value the most, because it's never just about workouts, right? It's never just about showing up for workouts, and workouts are great, but they're a small piece of the puzzle. And I think personally, the things that help the most when someone's trying to do something that they're not already doing is making it really, really doable, making it something that's realistic, but something that you have to work to do. So it's not something like I already do it. It's something that I want to do it, but I'm not really doing it right now. I'm not doing it regularly. I'm not doing it with consistency, or I'm not doing it well, or whatever it is. So the other thing that's really probably the most important thing, and I feel like I say this often, but it's worth saying again, is it's got to be important to you in the moment. And I actually, today during Run Club, was going through the goals for August, because once we get to the end of the month, we want to review our July. Like, that's really important. Don't just move on. Some people say, well, July happened, Kelly. Well, July, that means no good. They didn't do what they wanted to do, but it's over. So, and I say, absolutely right. We cannot go back and do anything different for time that's already passed. So move forward, learn. Why didn't that goal work? What's your strategy? How's your strategy going to be different this time? So what we do is we set one intention that we are held accountable to. And that's what I want you to do. So this podcast is going to come out on Monday, August 3rd. And even if you listen to it on August 5th or August 8th or it's not too late. I want you to decide one thing that you want to accomplish in the month of August. Whether it be something that you're going to do every day, something that you're going to make sure that you do by the end of the month, something that you want to measure, like your number of workouts, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I'm going to give you some examples from this morning, from my class. I taught, today's Friday, and I taught Run Club, and it's interesting because these people, I think they're very dialed in, right? These are people that are consistently working out. They're coming to a 6 a.m. class outside. They're pretty dialed in, but they're still struggling. Everybody's struggling with something. We all have stuff in our life that we want to do that we're not quite doing, period. End of sentence. And the important thing is to identify what you really care about, what really matters to you right now, right? Maybe you're like, yeah, next summer I'm going to try to tackle organizing my house or whatever it is. But what matters to you right now? What really matters to you? Because the only way you're going to do it is if it matters to you. So what's maybe it's a bottleneck, or maybe you think it's keeping you from your health goals. Maybe you think that it's something that is making you feel bad about yourself. I think people are so hard on themselves. They have a lot of personal guilt. They always think they're not doing enough, or they're not doing things good enough. So I'm going to use examples that we talked about this morning in class, and maybe you see yourself in one of these examples, maybe you don't, and it's okay. But I'm asking you as a favor, as a listener to this podcast, to come up with something and to either send me a text or send me a DM or send me an email, send me something. I'll give you all my information. And let me know what that one goal is. Even if you're someone that doesn't know me that well, maybe like one of your friends sent this to you, a boot camper, and you're like, I don't know her, I don't want to message her. Give it a try. Just put it out there. Or I would like you to form some kind of an accountability group with this goal. And if you don't have somebody to form an accountability group, I will be your partner. I will work with you for the month to help you accomplish this one thing that you want to accomplish. I think ideally for an accountability group, it's like 4 to 6 people. Here's the problem. If it's 2 people, one person forgets or one person kind of drops the bomb and then the other person's like, okay, we're off the hook. If it's too many people, people don't want to talk and you get lost in it. And maybe it's a designated time that you check in. Like, okay, let's check in every Sunday. So if there's a group of people that you naturally see on a certain cadence, try this with them. You'd be surprised. People like stuff like this. People want accountability. They want to be part of something bigger. They want to know that what they're trying to do is important to, or somebody else cares about what they're trying to do. So I was trying to think of some examples of like a time you might see everybody. If it's like a weekly meeting at your job, if school's coming back up, if there's like the bus stop, if you see someone at class on a regular basis, maybe you have a group that meets. But if there is a group of people, or maybe it's your family, maybe you guys have like family dinner on Sunday, and every Sunday you can talk about how your August goal is going. So those are the 2 things. I want you to be accountable to me. I want you to share your goal if you're willing, and then find another group of people. And if you need a group of people, put that in your communication to me and I will take care of that. So one of the things that comes up often, and I think this is because a lot of people have desk jobs, and even though they're working out, you do not get steps. I mean, Run Club was an exception. You do get steps in Run Club, but a lot of workouts, you don't get steps. And I know there's a lot out there now. I love when like now it's like, no, you don't need 10,000 steps. Who said 10,000 steps? Okay. I kind of agree with that. I think 10,000 is very random. I don't think people necessarily need 10,000 steps. But I think if you want to set a goal for yourself that feels like it's a little bit of a push, it's probably going to be somewhere between like 7 and 10,000. I have people that set goals of 12, 15,000. I will say that I set a goal of doing 10,000 steps a day, every day for the month of May. And I was very humbled by the goal. I did it, but I had to like walk back and forth in my friend's backyard. Like on a Saturday night, I had to go out at night. There were several nights when I was out, like basically in my pajamas to get more steps. Those are days where I thought for sure I'd get them just based on what I was doing. And I went for a walk and I was like, oh, I'll get them naturally. And I didn't. I do have, side note, I do have the Ultra Human ring, and that's how I keep track of my steps because I don't always have my phone with me. And I've heard from several people that they think it gets short, that it shortens you a little bit. I was with Maddie, who has the Aura, and because we were together the whole day, and I asked her how many steps she got, and she did get a pretty significant amount more than me, but it has to do with your step too. Like shorter people tend to get more steps than taller people. My stride is kind of messed up, so it maybe has something to do with that. But anyway, it's hard. 10,000 steps is not easy. It is not easy. And teaching classes does not give you steps because you're mostly, depending on the class, but you're mostly standing in one place for a lot of classes or just moving around in a circuit. You're doing strength training. So doing classes doesn't necessarily give you steps. So you have to do something in addition to your workout, really. And it really has to be a walk. You really need to go for a walk. Unless you have a job that you naturally just move throughout your job. I feel like when I was a mom, when my kids were younger, I got a ton more steps just because I was like chasing after them. And I was just never sat down. I was on my feet all the time, up and down the stairs. But nowadays, I don't get a lot of steps naturally. So I have to be conscious of that. So I am setting this goal again for August because I liked having that excuse to go for a walk. But I'm going to give myself a little bit of grace this time and make it cumulative for the week instead of a hard daily number. I'm still going to try really hard to hit it every day because that's just better in my opinion. I like the consistency, but like on a day like Monday where I have several classes, it's a very busy day for me. I'm not going to stress out if I don't get those steps. But like if it's a Sunday and I just didn't do anything and I didn't get any steps, that's different. I'm going to make myself go for a long walk. So if my suggestion is if daily steps feels too rigid, try a weekly total instead, because it's the same accountability, but you just have more room if you need a little bit of flex. And If steps don't speak to you, that's not your goal. Don't do it. Don't be like, I don't have a track, or I don't have, if it doesn't speak to you, don't do it. But for, again, a lot of my people, they have desk jobs and they just feel like they sit too much and they don't like the way they feel when they sit. They feel like their body gets stiff. I think that's especially when you get older, we feel stiff when we sit. So that is one that several people came up with. And I was joking because like a lot of the people run club like live near me. I'm like, let's go for a walk together. That's the best way to do it because you really don't even, the steps are like, when you're walking and talking, you don't even, it's the best. Also, of course, listening to a podcast. There's definitely things you can do where if it's like a rainy day or something, like I always say like, Costco, I'm good for like 1,000 steps at Costco or Home Depot, Walmart, those stores, those bigger stores. But that's just one idea for a goal. So think about that as one suggestion. And then this is the suggestion that I want to spend the most time on because this is what I really wanted to talk about today. This is something that I'm really passionate about. And I think that it comes easy to me. It's probably the only thing in life that comes easy to me. So I want to help other people with it because it's something that I feel like is really, really important. Once you create systems around it, it becomes easy. And the problem, I think, is people either don't do it or they overcomplicate it. They make it like so hard. They don't do it because they're not going to the grocery store regularly. They're just off. Or they try to do this elaborate meal prep, food prep, and they look at it like this big job and then they don't do it. So I'm suggesting something in between. And I have a lot of suggestions around meal prep and they're really, really simple. I've shared them before, but I'll go ahead and share some of them again because that's what people like to hear. That's the thing I get the most requests for is food tips. Kelly, give us more food tips. So for me, I like to buy most of my food in bulk. It's just what works for my family. And it's not even so much my family anymore. It's really me. Like I just like to have like a big thing of spinach or a big thing of peppers or a big thing of broccoli. Now, of course, right now you can be going to farmers markets, so this is a little less relevant, but in like the winter, that's kind of how I operate. A big thing of chicken, lean ground beef, and then I batch it. I just cook it or I cut it or I make a salad. I make something. I have a couple things in my refrigerator at all times that I can just do something with, whether it be cut up vegetables, roasted vegetables, cooked chicken, a salad, like even a chicken salad. I think chicken salad is underrated. You can make a very delicious, somewhat healthy. You don't have to use mayonnaise. You can use olive oil. You can use avocado oil. You can also do a combination of like Greek yogurt and mayonnaise. That's what I tend to do because I really like mayonnaise, but I don't eat all that mayonnaise. And then I just put Dijon mustard, usually salt, pepper, Dijon mustard. A nice container of chicken salad in the front of the fridge is worth its weight in gold because you can have it as like a quick, like wrap it up in something. You could put it on a salad. There's just so many things you can do with it. And it's good. Let's face it. Everybody likes chicken salad. It's delicious. It's good. So that is a big, big tip. If that speaks to you, it could be tuna salad. It could be egg salad. It could be a lentil salad. It could be any kind of salad, but something that you don't have to do anything to. Like you literally just like pull it out and you can enjoy it in different ways. Sometimes with crackers. Sometimes I make like a little plate. Like I'll have cherry tomatoes and some chicken salad and some almond crackers and maybe even some nuts because I love the taste of nuts and chicken salad. Apples. I love. Actually, I'm making that this weekend. I'm making like an apple, blue cheese, walnut. It's like my very favorite. It's very, very, very favorite. So that is one suggestion to have ready. Anything that you can do different things with it, right? Like, I mean, so example, I came home from a trip on Sunday night and we had no food because before I left, I was like, I want to clean out all the food. I don't want to buy a lot of food. And then of course, when I got home Sunday night, I was like, oh, we don't have any food. So what did I do? I reached to my go-tos. I actually had bought some rotisserie chicken, like prepackaged, and it was from Costco. And I had that. And once you open that, you have to use it kind of quickly. So I think actually it had been opened over the weekend. So I had that. I had some Amy Lou like breakfast sausage. I put that in. I used a can of tomatoes. I did have I had some broccoli, some leftover broccoli. I had hearts of palm pasta, which is my kind of go-to. And that would be very plain. There's no fat in it. There's no yummy in that. So this was actually for like 4 of us. So I wasn't afraid to use a little bit more, but I took like a whole block of boursin cheese. And then I just added some seasonings, some fresh garlic, and just cooked it in a pan. And it was a super, super yummy dinner. Like it really was. It went from like, there's absolutely nothing to eat in this house to this is an awesome dinner that I would like have when I have a full stocked refrigerator. Then the next night, I still didn't go to the store. I didn't go to the store on Monday. So I was like now even more desperate. So then I had to go into the freezer. And there's certain things that I love to buy. I buy them at Costco, but I think they're for sale anywhere that I feel like I can make a dinner out of immediately. One of them is Mexican street corn because it's so good. It's so flavorful. You can add like 5 other things to it and it's still delicious. So I took I had a bag of the Mexican street corn. I also had some cauliflower rice that was like kind of random. I think I got it at Target or something. I was just like looking in the freezer. What can I use? So I took the Mexican street corn, the cauliflower rice. There was some, one of my sons had opened like this beef brisket. I don't know if you ever see that Costco sells that. Again, once you open that, you got to use it. So he opened it over the weekend. There wasn't much left, but I was like, let me use that. So I like cut it up thin. I put it in and then it was like just building. So I had the corn, I had some of the beef brisket, and there was another random meat that I threw in. Oh, there was some more of that chicken left. So I needed to throw that in because that needed to be Then I added a can of green chilies. Now, green chilies, I don't know why they make food so good, but like if you have like a favorite dip or a favorite Mexican something, it's got green chilies in it. So I added a can of green chilies and then I was like, it needs more fresh stuff. So I had some tomatoes. I had, I think, cherry tomatoes that I cut up and put into it. And there was one more thing that I added. Oh, I added cheese. Okay. So I added some cheese and then some cumin, and it was an amazing dinner. I ate it just how it was. It was like, oh, pepper. Oh, that was the other thing I added. I knew there was something else. This is another good thing to have in the freezer. I bought it at Trader Joe's. It was frozen onions and peppers. I was a little leery of it. And it said cook from frozen. So I cooked those on a separate pan. So, okay, I'm just going to take you through how I did it. I took the frozen corn, put it on the pan. Took anything else that was already cooked. Okay, so I cooked the frozen corn a little bit. When the frozen corn was cooked, then I just started adding stuff that was already cooked, like the meat and things like green chilies and tomatoes and stuff that doesn't need to cook. It just needs to heat. And then I was like an afterthought to add the onions and peppers because I'm like, I need a vegetable. What vegetables can I add? When I come back from a trip, I am craving vegetables. I hate being at restaurants and like getting like a salad that just has I just feel like I always struggle to get vegetables when I'm on travel. So I was like craving, like I'm like, I need vegetables. So the onions and peppers were great. That was an excellent thing to add. And you know what's really funny? I don't remember how much I spent on it, but usually like when I cook onions and peppers, I can cook like 6 peppers and 6 onions and they cook down to nothing. They cook down to like absolutely nothing. This was actually like a pretty significant amount in the little bag. So I think it had already cooked. They were pre-cooked. So it already cooked down. So I felt like it was actually like a pretty good deal. And it was good, especially once you put the green chilies and the other things. So then like some people in your family might want to have it like some tortilla chips. Some people might want to have it in a tortilla. I just had it on itself. You could do like make it like a salad, like put like a little lettuce and tomato on top if you have that. So those are just a couple of the things. That's not really meal prep. I kind of got off topic a little bit there. But I just am telling you about foods that I think that you should have. I really encourage you to do a little purge. Go through your freezer, be like, okay, I'm going to use this, this, and this. Like I noticed even in my pantry, actually everything is out on my pantry right now because I'm reorganizing just one bottom section. But I noticed I have coconut flour and almond flour. They both need to be used. Those things don't last forever and they're very expensive. So go through and look through your pantry. Things do not last forever. Even if they're unopened, they don't last forever. So go through and take an inventory of the things that you have and use them. Use them or donate them. Don't wait till they expire and throw them away. Use them or donate them. And then think through about having some foods for dinners that you can throw together fast. Cooked frozen chicken, that's a great one. Even chicken nugget, even sometimes Costco will have on sale, like the higher quality, like breaded chicken that's not cooked. That's great. You could make a whole meal with that. You could cut it up and put it into a stir. I mean, there's just things that you can have in your freezer that that aren't necessarily ready to go, but you can do something with. And those are my meals that I always say, like, better than takeout. And maybe it's a frozen meal. I don't do that many frozen meals. I like to put my own food together, but maybe it's something like that. It's fine. Whatever it is, it's fine. Don't overthink it. But for regular meal prep, you do want to have some fresh, yummy food ready to go in your refrigerator. I like to have at least one sauce a week. And the reason is because I do shop at Costco. So I can't buy hummus, tzatziki. I can't buy all those things because they won't get eaten. I do buy the little cup. I have been buying those this summer, the little cups of hummus, because Lindsay likes those. And you could put those on a wrap. You could put them on a salad. If you put hummus and feta on a salad, it's a dressing. You don't need dressing. You maybe squeeze a little lemon on it, or even tzatziki. Costco's a really light tzatziki right now that it's like a Greek yogurt tzatziki that I make like a cucumber salad with. So that's another example, like having something that's already done, that's not like a yucky lettuce salad that gets yucky. Like my salads that I make are cabbage slaw. That's one of my very favorite, and I'm obsessed with the color purple. I feel like I need to eat more purple always. So I love my cabbage slaw, and it's super fresh, lime juice, cilantro, red onion. I don't get sick of it. I can eat it for breakfast. I know that everyone's not like that. Kale salad, you could make your own. You could buy the Costco one. Kale salad, that's one of my favorites. I also love to make broccoli salad. I'm actually going to make that today. Everybody loves broccoli salad. It's amazing. It's like the one thing I can take anywhere and everyone's like, I love that. Like, can you give me the recipe? And it's so easy. It's just chopping up broccoli and adding, again, you could do Greek yogurt or mayonnaise or a combination. I use red wine vinegar. And then I do also use a little bit of whole earth sweetener or honey. I've been better about using less of that lately and just using like a little bit of honey, because honestly, honey is so sweet. It goes like I was like looking at like a tablespoon. I don't know. But like a tablespoon is all you need. And when it's something it's going to be like 8 servings or whatever, that's really nothing. So that's another thing, or even a combination. I always say sweetener, your choice, because everyone's got their own sweetener or whatever. I do like the whole earth, or I prefer either regular like coconut sugar or honey. Those would be my first choices for something sweet. So for the food and meal prep, an example of somebody setting a goal around that. I had one woman that said, I want to, every Sunday, I want to make something that we have available for the week. That's so doable. One thing, maybe it's chicken salad. Maybe it's cooked ground beef, something that you could just add to tacos or but just have like one thing that's ready. Maybe it's, now when you make something that you put all together, so like you make a big batch of, say, lasagna, I couldn't eat that every night. I would get super sick of that. I have to make stuff that's like kind of plain, and then I put my food together. That's how I do it. There's no right or wrong, but that's just what works for me. Another suggestion when it comes to your meals and kind of deciding on what food to have for the week is be consistent, but also like mix it up. Even if it's the type, like I was like, I'm going to buy green apple. I always buy apples. I'm going to buy green apples this week. And I don't know why, but it just was like kind of exciting. It was like, oh, I forgot I love green apples. Like it could be kind of the same, but I know I need an apple because I have little things that I like to eat with apple. Like I mentioned, chicken salad. This week, actually, I had bought these little protein packages at Costco. They're like cheese, nuts, and seeds and pumpkin seeds. I mean, it's so silly because you could totally make your own of that. But sometimes when you're running out the door, like today, I was running out. I had an appointment at 10:10 and I was giving blood after, and I knew I was going to be out for a while. I'm like, I'm going to get hungry. I'm going to eat something stupid. Let me grab one of these. So I grabbed one of those and I grabbed an apple, and I was fine until I got home. It was just enough. And the apple with that was so good. Apple and cheese, one of my very favorites. So like even like if I grabbed a little Bella or a little mozzarella, those little baby packaged mozzarellas that you can get those are great to have on hand for that kind of situation too. I had that yesterday before I left for my class. I have basil. I bought all this basil from Costco. And so I had it out. So I just made like little, it sounds like fancy, but it wasn't. I literally like ate a tomato, a little bit of the cheese and basil, and just like had that as a snack right before class. But having those things like literally in my refrigerator, if you open up my refrigerator, you'll see, I'll show you a picture. You'll see I've got a clear container of little hummuses, a clear container of the fresh mozzarella, a clear container of the pistachio, pumpkin seed, cheese thing. They're all up front. So it's like, you're not stressed. You're just like grab and go. And if you're not, sometimes stuff like that doesn't work. Like sometimes like I'll buy something and it's not a hit. So it's like, okay, I'm not buying those for a while because we didn't go through all of those. But I think if you keep like a little bit of a rotation and kind of keep it fresh, it does work. It does really, really work. So that is my suggestion for just some ideas for food and meal prep. Okay, number 3, the third thing that comes up the most often when people are setting goals are sleep goals. The first thing I say to someone when they say, because like we'll go around and someone will say sleep. Well, what does sleep mean? So sleep usually means they need to get to bed earlier, is what sleep usually means. So I kind of cut to the chase and I say, what time do you need to go to bed in order to get enough sleep? And they usually know. They know exactly what time they need to go to bed to get enough sleep. And I just think sometimes saying that out loud, it's like, okay, I need to go to bed at this time to get enough sleep. And sometimes it means cutting out some of the other habits. I've heard from people like, that's my one time a day where nobody needs me and I just don't want to go to sleep. I want to like have some me time. But you got to decide, do you want to get enough sleep or do you want to, is that me time, watching TV really that important to you? So sleep, I recognize that as being such a challenge for people. I mean, some people just don't sleep well. Some people they have other things in their life that prevent them from getting a good night's sleep, which, that's a whole nother situation. But when somebody says sleep, I do just say, what time do you need to go to bed? And work backwards from that. And then build a routine that gets you into bed on that time. And I thought this was actually something I just heard on Mel Robbins' podcast, which is really, really true. And I chuckled because I did this for years. I'd be like, I go to bed at 10 and I wake up at 6, so I got 8 hours sleep. Well, no, I didn't fall asleep right away. And there was other things that, so you can't do that math. Don't do that math. If sleep tracking is something that you think would help you, I'd love to talk to you about that. That is something that has helped me a ton. I know people have different feelings about it. Some people are like, I don't want to know how little I sleep. It just depends on how you approach it. For me with sleep, I learned a lot from my ring, from my Ultrahuman ring. In fact, that was one of the things I did this week is I did not reach out to Ultrahuman, but I found the person that I should reach out to. Anyone knows anyone that's part of Ultrahuman, I really am impressed with the data that it's given me to help me with my sleep. And I went from like a low sleep score, like a 70 sleep score, to a consistent 90 sleep score, like mad, like if I couldn't get a 90. And then this past weekend, I went to Denver, off time zone. My son's game it was a rain delay, almost 2 hours. It was already starting at 9 o'clock our time. That doesn't sound right, but it was already starting late. And so we didn't go, we were way off schedule with time, way off schedule with eating, which is like, it's worse than sleep for me. Like it was terrible. 2 meals a day. It's just not like it was just very different than and so I got a message on my ring that indicated it was actually funny because I was really like thinking to myself, like, oh my God, it just feels, I'm like, that trip, usually I don't get so thrown off from a time change. Actually, I don't feel like I usually get thrown off at all, but I'm like, that trip really threw me. And then this is the message that I got from my ring. It said, your ring flagged a rise in your resting heart rate compared to last week. And then it said, one of the things that might cause that is when your glucose spikes and crashes repeatedly throughout the day, your body's constantly working to bring it back to balance. Now, I never let myself get hungry. Like literally, like I'm a baby, I'm a toddler. I really like have this, I need to eat on a regular basis, but I was hungry often in Denver. We didn't I think Saturday we had like one meal. We're like, it was just stupid. It was just working around other things, trying to coordinate other things. And we just didn't eat well. And I did bring my snacks. I had a Kind Bar one morning, so I shouldn't say I didn't eat anything. And I had an apple. I brought an apple. But anyway, what I'm telling you is my ring recognized it. And I just thought that was really interesting that it did. And then I really struggled this week with my sleep. I'm back to like 80s, but at the beginning of the week I was 70s. I was off of the rhythm of the sleep. So that's where I know that like going to sleep at the same time and waking up at a pretty similar time, it really matters way more than I would have thought it matters. So just giving you a little bit of information on that. If you're like, if you are struggling with your sleep, routine is key when it comes to sleep. The temperature of your room is key. What you do before. For me, I read. I don't look at my phone. I know people that go to sleep with their phone. My phone is in the other room. That's just a habit that I'm committed to because I'm on my phone enough during the day. I certainly don't need it anywhere near me at night. Then the fourth one, and this is a great one if you're trying to get back on routine. And I feel like August is a lot of people trying to get back on routine. Even though it's not September, they've been on vacation, they've been off, they just don't have their jive. They feel off, vacation, whatever it was. But August often, like depending on where you are in life, maybe your kids are going back to sports or you're starting to be like, okay, we need to get the kids on a better routine for them to go back to school or whatever it is. So August tends to bring a little bit more routine. Here, I don't know where it is in other areas, but here school starts August 17th, which is just in a couple weeks. So sorry, teachers. Some of my teachers are already going back. This is a really good goal to have if you're looking for consistency with exercise. And that's just number of workouts, right? So simple. It's not a lot to track. And if you do classes, it's really easy to track. And be realistic with it. Give yourself some grace. Like if you know you're going to be away for a few days, maybe say 10, maybe say 12. One of my guys today was like, I wanted to work out 27 times in July. And he did. That's a lot. But that motivates him. That keeps him going. That gets him there on the days that he doesn't feel like going. So that's a great goal for him. And he said, I'm really proud of myself. That's when I know a goal worked. When you get to the end of the month and you're like, I'm so proud of myself. I did exactly what I said I was going to do. That feels so good. The momentum you get from that carries through into so many other things that we do. So number of workouts. And the fifth one, I really wanted to share this. This one came from one of my students today that his family has suffered a loss, and she said that the family was together to celebrate life, and she said she got to be around some family members that she hasn't been around in a while, or she hasn't had a chance to see, and it just reminded her how much she loved that. So her goal for August is just more connection. She wants to take that. This is so important. She just experienced something. She feels it. She values it. She knows it's important. It just happened. And she wants to make sure that she keeps doing that. So she wants to have more connection in August. And you might say, oh, Kelly, that's not a health and fitness goal. That's a social goal. Nope, absolutely not. Connection is a health goal. And we're hearing more and more about that. And I'm so glad that we're hearing more and more about that, because I know that is true for people, that having connection with the right people obviously makes you is very, very significant. So sometimes we plan ahead and we think we know what will matter, and then life kind of shifts, right? Like it might be like she might have thought her goal this month might have been nutrition, but a moment like that, realize like, hey, you know what's most important to me right now is people. Like I want to be around these people that matter to me. And I think that's important. And there's never a wrong goal. There's never a wrong goal for a month. Sometimes people say, I don't love this goal because I feel like they could do a little bit better. But sometimes people say, I just want to survive. I just want to get through. And I kind of, I don't know what they have going on. I can't say you need more than that, but I get what they're saying. Like, I just want to come out the other end of this month. Okay, fair. So for my closing thought, I could go on and forever about this. None of these goals are complicated. Steps, food, sleep, workouts, connection. What makes them work isn't the goal. It's picking one that actually matters to you right now. And, this is the big and, having someone to be accountable to. That's what we do in my community. And that's what I want to ask you guys to do. So assignment right now, don't wait, do it now, because we're already into August. Send me a message, please, and share with me the one thing that you want to be held accountable for the month of August. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. I was excited to bring this one to you because I thought it would be helpful. I love having guests, but I also love sharing things that happen in my community. So if there's anything that you wish I shared more of or less of, let me know. I love your feedback. I'm doing this because I want to help people and I want to bring people into our community that aren't necessarily already in it. So if you're someone that's kind of on the outskirts and you're like, oh, I don't work out with you or whatever, you're still in this community. I want you to know that you're still in this community. If this messaging speaks to you, you're part of this group. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Start Before You're Ready. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend who might need a little motivation. Ready to start your own journey? Check out our workouts and nutrition coaching programs at kellysbootcamp.net. You can choose from in-person sessions or virtual programs. Set up a complimentary coaching session to get started. Follow along with me and the show on social media at Kellys_bootcamp. Until next time, this is Kelly Young reminding you that the best time to start is always now.